So I've popped over, got another wet day, but I got some things I want to show you. I'm going to pot some stuff on today. Got loads of flowers that are aching to be potted on. There are jobs that I can do today, so fingers crossed the rain will die down in a bit. But for now, let me show you what I've done. So as you know, I've got my little stove that heats up the shed, and also I use it to boil my kettle and cook some food, but things have changed. So I purchased a new kettle system that fits onto the flue pipe, and it boils the water, and yeah, I can just turn this here and get myself some water. So that means that I've got more room on the stove to cook things, but while the water's boiling. However, things have changed. I've got myself a little kitchen. So as you know, I like to cook on the plot, and this sink not only just looks like a sink, it actually works like a sink. So the tap design was inspired by Freddie's allotment, so thank you Freddie for that little inspiration. Let me show you what else I've done. So the idea is that this little tap that is just charged up by USB pumps water from this tank into here and then goes into this drainage one here, but that eventually will run out of the shed. So I know this needs a cladding inside, and it'll have a lot more work done over the next couple of weeks. But I've got my coffee, tea, sugar, some bits and bobs that I use. Simple things like some pastas and noodles and things. So they're perfect for just a quick snack when I'm over the plot. This I use to boil my water for the sink. And then if I want to have a quick cuppa, then I just use that as well. I am going to cook some food on the plot today. Tell me this isn't food of the gods. Some nice salt and chili belly pork, some salad from the garden with some spring onions, and also some green garlic. And I've added some noodles. It's absolutely fantastic. And also I cooked a nice garlic and coriander naan on the stove as well. So let's dig in. So sometimes it's nice to come over into the garden, disappear, and avoid the real world and just get on with what you need to do. And that's what I've done this week. I did pop over and see my niece Amber for her birthday, bought her a nice little greenhouse, and we went around and I bought her a nice little fitment for a bottle, and she went around and watered her garden, and I think she's going to become the next gardener in our family. So it's really nice to see the children getting involved as well. Also, I've sown a pile of beans from Duncan at Coastal Gardens, North Wales. So thanks Duncan for sending me these over. They were the Pongo bush beans, the black turtle bush beans, the speckled climbing beans, and also some giant sunflower. So thanks again Duncan for sending me those. I'm now going to pot on some snapdragons that Robin sent me. Now I found these hidden at the back when I was getting some nasturtiums out, so I'm glad that I found them because they're definitely competing here. So I'll pop them on now. Now I know zinnias hate being potted on, but I'm hoping if I can delicately take these little plugs and pop them in here slowly and gently, they shouldn't be disturbed too much. That's the theory anyway. So let's have a go. So as you can see, there's a nice little root bowl there now, and they're perfect little plug plants, and they just pop them in the hole. The dibber's about the same size, just make it a little bit wider, and then just slowly get them out and drop them in, and there you go. They've now got fresh compost, another feed, and now they've been potted on a little bit more. This will probably be the last stage of these zinnias before I plant them out, because I've got so many of them anyway, so I'm happy to sacrifice a few, but I think they'll be okay. Now I think you know what I'm going to say next, is that plant guilt that you get of culling those seedlings. You've grown them on, you've looked after them, and then you don't need the rest of them, and you're so guilty that you try and pass them on to friends and family and other plot holders and gardeners, but sometimes you just need to be brutal and chop them off. So as you can see, the polytunnel is crammed full of plants. I've had to bring in extra staging and trolleys just to try and accommodate and keep all those plants off the floor, because I don't want slugs coming in and eating all my hard work. But I'm running out of space. I really need to get them outside now. So it's just a couple of more days. I know I'm holding back because I just don't want any frost, any massive slug damage. I know you do lose some, but I've looked after these for so long that I don't want them to just disappear now, and it'd be such a shame. But look, these ones are just desperate to get out. These are the red Mars cabbage, and they're just looking fantastic. So next couple of days and I'm definitely getting them all out. One thing I'm really excited about is the fact that the runner beans are now showing their heads, and I'm really excited the fact that there's nothing more exciting than seeing this. Seeing the soil tipping its head open. It's like seeing a chicken hatch through an egg. You just know that it's a couple of days away from being fully emerged. The salads are looking fantastic and I'm so happy with them so far. I've been picking leaves rather than pulling out a whole plant, but they're looking amazing. So I'll do that now for a couple more weeks, and then the tomatoes will have to go in. I've had to repot the Kent blue peas because they started going a bit yellowy and they desperately needed a feed. So I've repotted them on, given them a good feed, so hopefully they'll be okay. I'm sure they will be. So much now is desperate to go outside. These cabbages, I've never had cabbages as good as these, but they'll be out now in the next couple of weeks. Also the collies, the broccolis, even the peas at the back, they're starting to show themselves as well. But the purple magnolia peas are also showing their heads, which I'm really happy about. The problem is that some of the plants now are shading out the littler plants, so I'm gonna have to have a little rejiggle around and then get everything out. I was looking back on footage, and this time last year I had almost everything planted out in the garden. All I had in here was runner beans and tomatoes, and everything was, you know, everything else was out. But I'm holding back like everyone else. But I mean, how long can you hold off? Do you know what I mean? The rain will do it amazingly, but I just don't want to have this little frost that'll knock off a lot of my plants, and that'll be a disaster. But I'm sure we're past it all now, but a couple of more days. It would be the sensitive plants like the hostas. This planted out looks really, really healthy, but one big slug attack overnight and this will be gone. So it's things like that you just need to hold back on and make sure they're really strong. I might even put these in pots this year so that they really establish, so that the slugs don't eat all my beautiful flowers. The runner beans have started to show some form of attack at the bottom leaves. I'm not worried about them. It's these little buds at the top, the parts that carry on growing up. You don't want to lose those. So they're all protected, they're all going okay. They're almost about 3 foot up the canes now, so I'm definitely getting early runner beans. I also planted out some of the speckled cranberry beans that Duncan gave me. I put some in modules, but I also planted some in the 2 planters around the archway in the polytunnel. I'm sure that they'll climb all around that, and I think they'll look absolutely fantastic. It really is looking like a garden centre in here now. This staging by here has been absolutely fantastic and has been a godsend. It's holding all those plants that are ready to go out and protecting them from slug attacks. And it's just perfect. It's perfect in the middle of the polytunnel, but before long I'm gonna have to take this out as well because I've got future plans. The potatoes are showing some frost damage. I should have put them in the polytunnel. I didn't. I took a gamble. But it is what it is. Most of them are still under the soil, so that's okay. But there's a few buckets, I'm not worried about that. The onions that I planted are shooting up now once they're in the soil and they've had a good watering in by the rain. And I also planted in some zabroon shallot. They're not doing the best, but they'll do okay. I think I'll get a few anyway. I also had some old jars at home, so I repurposed them by using it for the bloodfish and bone, the grow organic, the lime and the chicken manure pellets, and they'll be good amendments for the soil. So at least they're all airtight now, and I can just grab one of these jars when I need something and put it on the garden. Good afternoon and welcome back. It's a new day, so it means I've got more tasks to do today. The sun's out, so there's no excuses. Let's get these jobs done. So I think it's time I get some brassicas out. They're aching to get out. This polytunnel is crammed and I need more space because the tomatoes will be over very soon, you know, a few more weeks, and then it should all be out. I'm hoping a couple of weeks and everything will be out the polytunnel, into the gardens, and then I'll have just more space. So I think today, I'll head into the polytunnel, grab a few brassicas, get them out in the beds. I think I'm going to take a pile down to the grapevine garden and plant them up, net them over, and that's one job done. And plus, I'll have more space in here because it is crammed. It is crammed to the brim. There is trays and trays and trays of plants that are aching to get out. So let's try and take a bit of burden off the polytunnel. So I brought a trolley full of brassicas down. They are desperate to go out, so they are going to go in these 3 beds. I'll remove the cardboard, give it a little weed, and then net them all over straight away. And that way then, they're all protected. You're not going to get any cabbage whites, because I've seen them already. The cabbage whites are out. So let's get them in.
Give me love, give me all your love, oh, 'cause I want you. No one else makes me feel this way, don't know what you do. Hold my hand, could you hold my hand, look me in the eyes. You and me, yeah, that's all I need, and I'll be alright. I'll be right here, I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer, I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love.
So it's round 2 now. I've just got up and got another pile of brassicas. Let's just get them in. I'm on a roll now. I'm on a roll. I am so happy now that that job is done. Most of the brassicas are out in the beds. Another job done. I'm Danny, and this is the Grapevine Garden.